And as we round out Mental Health Awareness Month, we want to take the time to address maintaining mental health in teenagers and the importance of getting treatment now rather than waiting through the summer to work on those issues. To help us with some of these questions, we brought in our friend and licensed therapist, Kevin Petersen, to help us break down just a little bit more of this information. Kevin, thank you so much, my friend, for being with us.
Oh, thanks for having me, Jordan. It's always a pleasure.
I'm so glad we're talking about this because I know that there's a lot more focus now placed on mental health, but I remember growing up and a lot of it was just dismissed as these are growing pains. This is kind of just part of that phase in life where teenagers are just dealing with a lot. We know that's not the case anymore. We do know that they are facing struggles with their mental health. So my first question for you, Kevin, is how would you even know if there's an issue that needs some attention?
You know, the thing is with kids, right? I mean, rare is that a 16-year-old's going to sit down and say, you know, Mom, Dad, I got a few things I need to talk about. And they just don't have that. So what you want to look for is significant behavior changes like grades dropping or changing their friend groups or staying in their rooms and not engaging with the family or quitting sports or extracurricular activities. Watch their behavior. That's what's going to tell you what's going on.
Okay, so you watch their behavior. But then there's the point where you have to actually address that. And that's really hard for a lot of people to do. How do you even begin to go about that?
Oh, great question. And one of the things I always tell my families is don't trap them and say, you have a problem and we need to talk about it, because they just won't respond to that. What you want to do is sit with them and just ask them open-ended questions. Hey, what's going on? How are you? How are you feeling? What's going on with you? You know, let them be the center of attention. And, you know, another thing I always like to tell families to do too, as well, is let them pick an activity. Let them be in charge. You let them plan dinner or plan a movie or plan an outing. Get them engaged in the family process.
You know, Kevin, one thing I always say about mental health when you're talking about it with anybody, but especially when you're talking about with teenagers, is being authentic. I feel like people can tell when you're being fake, when you're coming up with a story to try to kind of make them feel a little bit more comfortable. They can read right through all of that, right? And so I feel like a key for parents or anybody that might be in this position is you have to genuinely talk about this.
You know, that is the absolute key to this whole situation, is sitting them down and saying, look, you're my son or my daughter and I love you. And I don't care what's going on. I love you no matter what. I accept you no matter what. You know, I am on your team 100% across the board. I'm here for you. And help them understand that you're being authentic and loving and caring, and that you're being super genuine and not coming at them from like, you're doing something wrong. You know, I'm scared about your behavior. You want to come at them from a position of love and compassion and empathy.
And that's great for parents to hear too, because on their side of things, they might be afraid to approach it with their teen because they don't want to feel like they're coming down too hard on their child. But they have to also understand you care because you love them. That's a really big part of this. So I want to ask, if you think your teenager or maybe somebody else is struggling, is there really a threshold on when you can get help?
You know, it's never too soon. You know, I think the sooner the better. I think it's always an important thing to be clear and concise with the kids and say, hey, you know, I want to offer you some situations for help. I'm here for you. Don't wait till something big happens. That's always the mistake. Parents tend to be like, well, you know, we saw the signs, but we didn't really do anything. It's like, don't wait. Go ahead and bring it up and you know, say something.
Yeah, and Kevin, we have just a few seconds left, but I feel like this is an important question. People are going to be listening to this, or maybe they've already been in discussion, and they're trying to find help for their teens at this time. They want to get them into therapy. That's not really easy to do right now. A lot of people saying they're being put on wait lists to get in. What would you suggest to them as far as resources go?
You know, I always believe in looking in Psychology Today, their website, and I also believe the community mental health centers. And then Colorado has a great program called I Matter, which is a free counseling program for kids. The thing with kids, and this is really critical, is look for non-traditional therapy methods like art therapy, equine therapy, animal-assisted therapy, sand tray therapy, play therapy. They respond to those better than just sitting in a room and talking to an adult.
Absolutely. That is great advice. And by the way, anybody that's listening to all these resources, we're going to have that for you on our website, 9news.com, for you to go back and review. Kevin, my friend, as always, we so appreciate you being on to help us out. Thank you very much.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.